When the box was half empty, they packed it away to be used in another location. "You should go home now, E," suggested Aidan. "I know you wanted to help with the pair, but this isn't the place for you. Not when I'm seeing the men." "And what am I meant to do? Sit in the house and sew?" she replied, as they remounted and continued walking their horses through the scrub. Aidan burst out laughing. "We both know that's one thing you can't do." Edwina flipped him with a battered felt hat. "You know these men aren't used to seeing women," he continued. "Even one like you." Aidan took in her trousers, shirt and waistcoat. Edwina moaned. "Yes, you're right, of course. I should have dressed for the occasion." "I'm serious. They're on the road for months on end, living in camps, working in the bush. All I'm saying is keep quiet when we get there and let me do the talking. Father told me to check on the ringbarkers while he's in town on business, by myself. He said nothing about you being allowed to come." Edwina gave a huff. "It's not like I haven't been out here before. Anyway, by yourself, did you say? Right, and that's why Davidson is following us at 50 paces. Aidan swivelled in the saddle and frowned. Sure enough, their Aboriginal stockman and sometime overseer was waiting quietly at a distance. "How long has he been there?" "I noticed him earlier," replied Edwina flippantly. "There's no point looking so annoyed, Aidan. You know Father's rules. No one goes riding alone in the bush if you're going further than 4 miles from the house." Ahead, the prickly pear thinned. Edwina clucked her tongue and her mare, Heidi-Ho, trotted past her brother. Aidan patted the compass in the pouch at his waist and then the water bag hanging from the saddle. "I'm never without it or this," he called after her. "Surely by now you don't still need a compass," Edwina spurred the horse on, cantering away from her brother. Aidan was quick to pursue, and they raced through the scrub, jumping fallen limbs and boughs and skirting trees. When next they slowed, brother and sister checked to see if the Aboriginal still followed. Sure enough, Davidson was there, 100 yards behind them, waiting beneath the shade of a brigalow tree, both he and his horse motionless, as if they'd been spirited from one place to the next. "You won't lose him," commented Aidan. "I wasn't trying to. He can track anything, you know." Not, Edwina thought, that they'd ever had proof of the old man's ability. He'd appeared out of nowhere a good decade ago, walking in from the scrub and staying as if he'd been on the farm all his life. Their father assumed the man had been thrown off a mission for not being a full-blood and took to wandering the bush before searching for work. It was possible. The man, named Davidson by their father, had become indispensable to the running of the property, although no one had ever heard him utter a word of English or any other language. The spring scents heavy in the air were gradually replaced by the stench of burning. Edwina rubbed at her eyes. The smoke was strong on the morning breeze. It always seemed as if half the district was burning off a good part of every year. The continual clearing of the land, of scrub and prickly pear and trees was, she knew, a necessary task if people were to make a success of their properties, particularly where the pear invaded, rendering the land useless for the grazing of stock or planting of crops. But all Edwina saw from this continual task of trying to tame the earth was more work that stretched out endlessly from dawn to dusk, except at the times when their father went to the town of Waiwana for business, presenting the all-too-rare opportunity of not keeping to the set tasks allocated on a weekly basis. Behind them, Davidson kept a discreet distance. "Father is more worried about accidents or injury than one of us getting lost," Edwina pointed out. Their father, the recipient of a nasty fall some years ago when the horse he'd been riding shied at a snake, placed his salvation in Davidson's hands. If the Aboriginal had not been with him that day, he may never have been found. Ahead, glimpses of creamy beige could be seen through the trees. They rode in that direction, ducking under low branches as patches of sunlight stippled the tawny shades of the bush. Rabbits scuttled from underfoot and the red tinge of a fox dashed across their path as they reached one of the bore drains that spread across their land like an artery. It petered out into the distance as the thick brush slowly thinned to be replaced by more open country.